So,
yeah.
You know, and that's the good thing about being self-aware and knowing who you. My hair is a hot mess. Ooh, Lord. I need to holler at a loctician.
Hold on, my funny ass in that bitch.
Okay.
Miss Man over here talking shit. Then say, oh, my hair is a mess.
Oh, man, come on, dog.
You went straight up little girl on me.
But listen, you know your mama told you that your hair and your feet gotta be right.
Went straight up Cinderella.
Oh my God, that's Cinderella. How you gonna come? Hey, Tom. Don't call me
hair.
Man, my hair though. Man, look, how often you stay at the barbershop? Don't play.
I don't go no more.
You just do it at the crib.
Yeah, I just did shit. Matter of fact, I'm in for a good old shave down in the morning. Man, I do about every 2 days.
Man, hey, I can't be rolling up somewhere. And you know,
but it was just so dynamic about how cute you got. You just got the first time I seen just Miss Girly. Oh, that's my hair.
Well, listen, hey, you throw a bug or a snake my way,
yeah,
you can really
go see shit coming
yeah,
out.
Yeah.
We got 20 seconds.
All right, 20 seconds. You gonna really hear it. Oh my God, I hate insects, rodents, and bugs. That's where I lose all my stuff.
I'm a little bitch about some rodents too. I don't want no mice around my ass now. You know, I don't do that either. Do your thing, baby.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Turn Left. I am your host, Indiana's own Dana Black, coming to you live from Office Flex, right here in the hood. And I said it in the hood, in the neighborhood. Everybody's got a neighborhood. Right here at 10th and Jefferson. Come by and say hi. Wave at me at the window. As you see, I'm all alone right now, but my guests are on their way. So we have a few things to talk about. And if for some reason we don't have a guest tonight, I'm going to try to do something different. When I say, maybe we'll try to take some questions from Facebook. But I got a few topics I want to talk about. First of all, I hope everybody had a great week. I actually was kind of calm this week. I didn't do a whole lot of ranting and raving. I realized that there were a couple of folk who were not too terribly thrilled with me last week because, well, as I often do when I get tired of white supremacy, I state things the way that I state them. And some of my white brethren, and I really mean brethren because they was all men, got a little upset with me about talking about what it is to be black in America and what those concerns look like, and they felt like they were, well, feeling alienated. I'm going to say this once and I'm going to be done with it. If talking about issues of people of color make you feel alienated, you need to check yourself. If talking about issues of people of color make you feel alienated, you need to check yourself. Black folks ain't going nowhere. People of color ain't going nowhere. And we have real issues that need to be addressed by both policy and community organizing. So if you don't want to hear about those things, you need to check yourself because you sure want somebody to hear about your issues, right? So please have the same common courtesy and understanding that as a person of color, I have issues in my community that I feel like need to be addressed. And I will always, I want y'all to get that. I want to put that bass in there. Always talk about issues that concern people of color. So first of all, let's talk about a people of color. He didn't know it up until about 2 weeks ago. Attorney Hill, Attorney General Hill, looks like he is a bipartisan creep, and he does not mind putting his hands on Republican women as well as Democrat women. A young lady came out with her op-ed piece today. Of course, the freckle-faced Elvis impersonator said that he wanted to comment on the email that was sent and possibly some statements that may or may not be true in the email. But the bottom line is, dude, you're a creep because you went and started touching on people you didn't know. Now, last week at the rally, there were a group of folks out there who were wanting, and it kind of ticked me off, and I'm just going to say this, and I'm going to put it out there real plain and clear. There were some people out there who were, they had a poster. They had a poster, and the poster was suggesting that historically, white women have accused black men of poor behavior, and things have happened horribly. Yes, this is true. We do know this to be true, that some white women have falsely accused brothers of doing things and they were lynched, burned at the stake, so on and so forth. However, if your mother was like my mother and she tried to instruct me on how to keep myself safe and protect myself, she warned me about that uncle who might one day decide he wants to put his hands on me. And that uncle was a black man. So let me explain to you, just like there are creeps who are white, there are also creeps who are black. And Curtis Hill is a creep who is black. Curtis Hill is a creep who is black. I'm sorry, you go putting your hands on people, y'all ain't got to like it. Now, Susan Brooks, I'm not feeling you. You can go ahead on and sit on down with your wanting to ask somebody to step down until you deal with 45. I'm not even really trying to hear what you're talking about. You can go on and sit down somewhere because you ain't condemned nobody ever about sexual harassment and all that stuff. My guest is here. Sit on down. Come on in. I got a few more topics on hit, and then me and you gonna chat.
Rock on, baby.
Let me take them glasses. All right, come on in closer so they can see you on the book. So anyway, second thing, so Attorney Hill, we're gonna ask you to resign and step down because you're a creep. Bottom line is, you went to a space where there were people you didn't even know, and you decided to put your hands on them. You're actually really relatively lucky in the state of Indiana that you still have a job anyway, because you know they find ways to get rid of you. So why don't you just do us all a favor and protect the integrity of your wife and step on down? Yeah, I said it. And all you people who wanna give him a pass, there are creepy people in every demographic, so stop it with that. And if I ever see another poster where Emmett Till is next to any creepy guy that got drunk at 1:30 in the morning putting his hands on young girls, young women, I'm coming for you. I will continue to come for you. Because you was wrong for that comparison. That was a 14-year-old child who was brutally lynched. And even the lady, when she died, lied. Curtis Hill got drunk and went to AJ's Lounge. How are you comparing the two? I'm not having it. Don't do it. Don't bring me to the spot because I will call you out. All right. Something more a little bit on the lines of what we need to be doing. Still think about Puerto Rico people. They're still in a blackout. They're still having a hard time. Hurricane season is upon us again. I'm sorry. I hate that we have a government that is saying American people are not important because they are brown and they speak with a beautiful Spanish accent. I don't even understand this. Why are we not taking care of people of Puerto Rico? They are still in trouble. So don't let that go away. I heard about an event that's coming up. Once I get the details on that event to support Puerto Rico, I will share that with you guys. You know, I've still been talking about it because those are people down there, man. There are people who are still dying because they're not getting the services that they need. So we have to do better about that. Okay, one other little thing, two more things, and then one thing, and I'm gonna bring my guest in so we can talk about it together. Can I ask y'all what the deal is with everybody calling the police on little kids selling water, selling milk, selling candy, Did you go ask the Girl Scouts when they were selling their cookies if they had permits? Did you go ask the Boy Scouts when they sell their popcorn if they had their permits? What is with you people? What is with this notion that we all of a sudden gotta ask for permits? What is with people kicking black folks out of pools in the neighborhoods that they pay rent in? What is all of this about? What is you upset about? What has got you so upset? Oh, you got a president who told you that you were better than everybody else and that there's something wrong with the brown and black people of the world. Let me explain something to you. This is nothing new. Stop acting like all of a sudden we are the most threatening humans on the planet. No, because see, when the Taliban and Al-Qaeda wanted to learn how to be good terrorists, you know who they learned from? They learned from the KKK. They didn't learn from black folk. So stop it. Stop calling the cops on these kids, traumatizing. They called the cops on a young man who was mowing lawns. They called the cops on a young man who was delivering newspapers. Enough is enough with this. Stop being scared. Stop running around acting like everybody is out to get you. We don't want you. We good. We got enough of our own issues sometimes to deal in our own space. But all of these social issues that are being highlighted and that are being talked about are really taking away from some of the things that are going on in Congress. So before I bring up one of those issues that I think we need to talk about and we need to dive into, I want to bring my guest in. First of all, I got one of the coolest homies on the planet with me tonight. I'm telling you,
everybody.
If you have not met Thomasina, man, you are in for a treat. There's going to be moments through the show tonight I'm just going to sit back and watch because she is like that. Y'all, welcome to Turn Left, my girl Thomasina, who is running in House District 46. And she's on the Democrat ticket. And if I may, she is also an out and proud LGBT candidate running for office. Yes, there are more of us. We're coming strong. So before we go into who you are and what you're about, I wanted to talk about this amendment that the House Appropriations Committee passed on Wednesday while we were focusing on Trump going to Europe and some of the other non-important issues. It appears that they passed a bill that will deny LGBTQ families the ability to adopt children based on religious objections.
Wow.
Here we are again. Come closer. Here we are again talking about granting rights to LGBT families, LGBTQ plus folk. Now, the last time I checked, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Thomasina, I think me and you kind of might know these things. Typically, gay people are not having children they don't want.
Correct.
Usually, if they're having a child, they have paid a whole lot of money for artificial insemination, or they're willing to go through the proper channels to adopt. The idea that, and the part of the bill that really gets my goat is, they are saying that the federal government will not stop doing business, meaning spending taxpayer dollars on organizations that will deny LGBT families the opportunity to adopt. But see, I'm still trying to figure out how they can strip out my gay tax dollars when they are denying us the same rights and the same abilities to create families. Thomasina, I want you to tell me, I don't know if you heard about this.
Well, you know, I don't know. You and I are kind of on the same deal most of the time.
Most of the time.
Yeah. I really want to inform the Hoosiers of this state and the entire nation that President Pence is in the House. Because this is a bill straight out of his playbook.
Absolutely.
I mean, even when our rights to get married were there, Indiana had to reverse it.
Yep.
Governor Pence at that time, but President Pence.
It's his thing.
That's his thing.
Well, and then when you think about the fact that when you bring it back to local Indiana, and you talk about what's going on here in Indiana, Indiana has the highest opioid crisis in the nation. There are children now whose parents are in dire straits and no longer should be parents. Now you're saying, and DCS is completely overwhelmed.
I just had a meeting with them today.
Oh, I can't wait to hear about that one.
Oh.
Completely overwhelmed. Now you're saying there's a whole segment of society who will offer loving homes. And by the way, LGBT folk have the most disposable income. That you're going to deny these children an opportunity to have loving homes. Listen, I did not pay my tax dollars to allow Congress to continue to pass bills to discriminate against me and my fellow LGBT folk. The idea that it's okay that religion, when there's supposed to be a separation of church and state, that you can deny somebody on religious ground, but you can take my tax dollars. I want to go to every one of these organizations and say, you know, you took my tax dollars, I'm big time gay.
Right.
I'm a big old lesbian.
So, and another thing to look at here is it's the same thing that President Pence did as Governor Pence. You're not
don't say that. Don't even say that.
You're not going to get me off the President Pence.
That's horrible.
All of the policies that we're seeing, all the horrible policies against real people, working class people, people that work hard for their money, that give to their government, that give their lives for this nation, right? He is taking the same playbook that he did in Indiana and putting it over an entire nation.
Hello.
Right now.
Hello.
And what it boils down to is, are we, as taxpayers in this nation, willing to give millions of dollars, millions of our hard-earned dollars, to Governor Pence, to President Pence?
Stop.
No, because what happens is, right, I want my money back. I want my money back for the trips that go all the way down to Mar-a-Lago.
I want my money
back for the $45,000
y'all hashtag
in the
that.
booth.
Hashtag that. I want
my money back.
Gay folk, listen. I mean, this is straight out of 1953.
Yeah.
The idea that we are now putting amendment. We don't know if the amendment is going to stand because we don't know if the bill is going to pass. But there's an amendment in a bill right now, and you can look it up. And if the vote went down committee 29 to 23, the only Republican, it went down party lines, the only Republican was Scott Taylor out of Virginia, who said, nah, this ain't too cool. But listen, y'all get on this. Don't let this one slide because we've been through this already. And doggone it, how are you going to give them my tax dollars?
It's your money.
They're going to take my tax dollars and give it to people who don't like me. I just got a real problem with that. All right. Listen, you guys, when I first met Thomasina, you know I always give y'all a story about where I met somebody, how I met them, blah, 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 blah. This beautiful hurricane, that's what I call it, this beautiful storm came through. First of all, she sent me a message, and I was like talking about how JD was going to be the first LGBT candidate in our state house, not realizing we had other candidates that were running. I don't know everything. I don't know everything. She sent me a message like, yo, don't you know I'm fam and me and my wife live? And I'm like, no.
BTW.
Okay, but then I had a chance to meet her, man, and her energy and her love of life and her zest for life and her light. Her light is very similar to mine. It's all like you got the chocolate version and then you got the Italian version. I'm telling you, you guys,
espresso.
This is espresso. Okay. We need someone like her in our state house. Say hi to the people and tell them who you are, where you come from.
What's up? Now look, I stretch across the middle of Indiana. It's House District 46. We go from 37 in Bloomington all the way almost to Illinois and Terre Haute. Hi, Juan.
You can't do that.
And
because it is a radio show,
right? And so what I would say to that is I am in both House Congressional District 8 and 9. What 46 actually encompasses is the top of the bottom half of the entire state.
Okay.
We hold it together.
Okay.
And right now, Representative Heaton, the House Whip.
Now you know who she's running against. You don't get to say his name again.
Right, and that was the only time. Just for those of you playing that didn't know.
Right, didn't know.
We are not running against him, Dana.
What you doing?
We are running for the people.
Running for the people. I like that.
For the people.
I could get a new pair of Nikes for that.
I'm telling you, this is a movement. This is about real working class people bearing down and saying no more. I'm tired of my tax dollars going to corporations. I'm tired of making $7.50 an hour.
Come on.
I'm tired of not being able to go to the doctor when I'm sick. I'm tired of paying. I am so tired of paying my property taxes, getting an increase, and having it go to private schools in Carmel.
Come on. Oh, stop. Did you say that?
I said it.
You called it out.
I called it out.
Okay, before you go there, tell people who you are, where you come from. Did you grow up in Indiana?
I did.
Okay,
I grew up in rural southern Indiana.
Rural southern? They make lesbians in rural Indiana.
You know what? It's genetics. It happens anyway. So I grew up in rural southern Indiana. Have you ever been to Holiday World?
No.
Okay, I grew up 10 miles southeast of there in a
Okay.
little bitty town called Evanston, Indiana. Population 150 people. The town actually had 12 people in it.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's nothing but cornfields and soybean fields and
Okay.
well, it used to be pig farms and cow farms.
Okay. Wow.
It's literally the most beautiful place you will ever see.
Oh, I love it. So you had no other choice but to go to public schools because there probably weren't that many parochial and private schools in your town.
No, there were not. And in my little town, in the 3rd grade, there were 7 people in the whole state of Indiana the first year that we had I-STEPs that got perfect scores. I was one of them.
You got a perfect score?
I got a perfect score. There were also 2 other students in my big class of 25 that also got a perfect score.
Wow, in a public school?
In rural Indiana. Yeah.
How that happened?
Well, because we have real teachers.
Oh, see, and your school system probably took care of those teachers,
They
too.
took care of those teachers.
Okay.
We looked up to our teachers.
Okay.
We had teachers' aides. Can you imagine? What?
I remember that.
Do you remember that?
I do have a story to tell. I feel sorry for the kids that had to take I-STEP. I remember in my generation, we were the generation of kids where they were testing these tests out on.
Right.
Yeah, I never actually read the questions.
Yeah, you just made the circles. It was fun. It was coloring day.
Yeah. So if they felt like we needed to test these kids more because of the poor tests,
yeah,
I'm one of those.
Yeah.
So sorry. Okay, so you graduate high school.
Yeah. Actually, I didn't.
You didn't?
I got my GED. So when I was 17 years old, my mom was sick.
Okay.
She was very sick. Single mom. I got 2 younger sisters, and I was given a choice. I can either buck up and start working 2 jobs to hold down the house, or I can graduate high school. It wasn't even a hard choice for me.
Okay.
And it was an even-keeled answer. Yes.
Okay.
She made me promise to get that paper.
Okay.
She made me promise to get that big degree.
Okay.
And I did. I took the long road.
Right.
I got 20 years management experience working my way up in every company I was in. However, I got it at 40.
I love it. Hey, you ain't telling me nothing.
Right.
I got mine at 39.
Right.
I got my undergrad at 39 and my MBA at 43. So I understand.
There you go.
So and you shared something. I actually had the honor and privilege of giving a commencement speech up in Michigan City for the Michigan City schools for their adult GED, their GED. They call it something else now. And that was such an amazing experience because these folks were always told that they were not be something because they didn't finish high school, and here they were walking across the stage and getting their diplomas. So I applaud you for being, mom number 2 in your home, being the big sister that your little sisters needed, and still managing to continue your own personal growth. That speaks volumes.
Well, that's the same call that we have now, right? We're taught in rural America how to be good neighbors.
Right.
And your neighbor, there's no one else around, right? If a tree falls down, who's going to cut it up?
Right.
Right?
Right.
It's you and probably
a
one
couple of
other
your homies.
person. Right,
Yeah.
that's it. And so, that was the same call I get now.
Okay.
We are dead last in
everything.
Everything's
Everything good, and we're number 1 in everything bad.
Exactly, and we got to turn that around. But that's the same call. My family of Hoosiers is calling me to the plate.
Okay.
And saying, we know you can do it. We know you can bring people together.
Thomasina, wait a second now. Wait. You do not have... Do you have a law degree?
No, I sure don't.
Wait. Do you have a medical degree?
No, we're working on it, but no. I don't.
Do you have an advanced degree at all?
No, I sure don't.
Well, wait a second now. I thought that you had to have all of these things to represent your community.
That's a fun fact about running for office. You don't even have to have a high school diploma. You really don't.
You just have to have what? What do you think the main...
Life experience. I have managed, before I even got the university paper, I had a paper in life.
Right.
I managed multi-million-dollar restaurants. They sent me into failing restaurants and said, kid, you have 2 days to turn this around.
Now, wait a minute. They got a dude that's making millions of dollars doing a show like that. Maybe you was in the wrong business.
Right, I should have. I don't know. Maybe I should have.
There might be a chance.
Maybe that'll be retirement.
There you go.
But that's where we are here in Indiana now.
Okay.
Is that we're a failing company. If we're going to be the crossroads of America, then we have to be the forefront of innovation. We have to be the first founders of technology. We have to make it to tomorrow and beyond before we even know what tomorrow is.
But Thomasina, you talking crazy. Because see, listen to me. We got elected officials in our state house that feel like we should still continue to burn coal. How can we be the innovators when we have leaders in our state house that want to still burn coal? How can we fix that? How do we change that dynamic?
One of the awesome things about living in this rural area is REMC. It's South Central REMC. It's a co-op. So as a person who consumes the energy you become part of the business. You own part of the business. You get a refund check at the end of the year from the profits in the business, right? They have, I know, I'm glad you're sitting down.
Oh, yes.
Solar panel fields. I know, to save people money. They are switching from coal to solar energy.
No, I'm dumbfounded.
They pay residents who have solar panels to give them energy.
Wow. So now what is SB 309 going to do to your co-op, though?
Well, it's not going to make it through.
It's not going to make it through?
We're going to have to amend it. That's going to have to
but
change.
it's already there. It's already in place. It passed 2 years ago.
I know, but we've got to, those are the things that we've got to change.
I mean, so how is it going to affect you if you don't get elected and it still stays supermajority? How is, and we can't get some of our other Democrats elected, if it was a fifth, we'd all be drunk. If
it was Bizarro world.
Yeah.
Bizarro 2018.
Right. What would be the impact of SB 309?
Oh, it's going to be huge.
Okay. Tell us about it.
Because you no longer get rebates and you're charged more for having that on your house.
Now, are you getting an increase in income on your job?
No.
So you're not getting an increase in income on your job, but your cost of living is increasing.
Correct.
Wow.
My farmers in Clay County, who have the same income every single year, have already done their taxes for next cycle. And they will end up owing the federal government and Indiana over $27,000.
Yeah, ouch.
More.
Ouch.
They got a refund this year, but $27,000. Can you imagine?
Yes, unfortunately. My wife is successful, so I do understand. It was a shock the first year we were married and we filed our taxes, and I was looking for my refund, and I'm like, we owe what?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Yes, I unfortunately I do know what that looks like, but we're in a position where we can absorb that.
Yeah.
How in a community? How is your community going to be able to absorb that?
It's not.
Right.
It's really not. And so I look at Clay County and places like Coal City, which is in Owen County. It's part of Owen County. It's
never heard of Coal City.
So Indiana has a lot of strip mines.
Okay.
Where you go and harvest coal.
Right.
It's one of those old
all right.
strip mine areas that you don't have to go in the mountains to get coal. You can just yoink it from the ground right there. But Coal City has tons of farm fields that are available. We have tons of areas where we can put these energy fields. Do you know it would generate $3.3 million in revenue for Clay County.
Wow.
If we put one energy field in.
Wow. And you say an energy field meaning a solar field or a wind farm. What about the wind farms? Are they okay with the wind farms down there? I know some Miami County, they don't like them.
We have in all of these beautiful counties along 46, it's really hilly. So you're not going to get a pitch like you would in the Lafayette area or Plainfield area.
So that may not be the best
Right. Wind is not necessarily, the turbines take so many RPMs to get the velocity of those things going.
We can do solar all day
Solar all day, every day.
Wow.
24, well, probably not because the sun goes down.
Okay, so you're sitting around, the sun does go down, but see, we can get some of those Tesla batteries, store that in, and we're good to go. We can just get off the grid. Anyway, so you're sitting around and you're watching. What was the catalyst for you as you're sitting around and you're off doing your thing, getting your education, loving on your wife, doing what you do out in rural Indiana? Mind you, we're talking about gay folk in rural Indiana.
I got some of the best neighbors ever.
That's what's up. So you're sitting around. What was that thing that said, "Oh my God, I'm running for office"?
Most of you don't know, I'm also an EMT.
Okay.
I do it as a service to the community.
Did not know that.
Yeah. So I'm
naturally. She told me all that.
I'm a nationally registered EMT.
Okay.
And I work my shifts so that I am really in tune with what the community needs. Like on a for real, you were talking earlier about the opioid epidemic and the children and the babies that are being harmed by that. There's nothing like holding a malnourished child who has been ignored because mom and dad literally had no idea that 3 days went by and they didn't feed it. So it's not just the one thing that happens, right? It's the collective view of what happens. It's the idea that inside of me, when I saw the injustice of what was happening economically, of my neighbors not having faith in what tomorrow would bring, that was my call. That was my tone that went off. Just like being in a 911 bunker. And there is no other choice. I can't explain it to people because I've learned in this travel that not everybody runs into a burning building.
I am one of those that goes, hey, there's a burning building. Will you go run into it? I know who I am, right? Because the rats and roaches run out, and I'm just not going in there. I'm not going.
I'm running in. I'm throwing you over my shoulder. We're walking out. It's not a question.
No, I'm telling jokes on the street, talking about, look at her throwing shoulders, throwing people over her shoulders. Everybody. That's why. I mean, honestly, literally, that is why I am like so into our veterans, because there is no way I could have ever been military. I couldn't have got through basic training because they want you to crawl through mud. Yeah, HB was just giving me crap because I looked at my hair and I was like, oh my God, my hair. And he's like, how you gonna be the biggest stud up in here and scream like a little girl because your hair ain't right? I know who I am, and I'm not crawling in the mud. I'm not playing with insects. I'm not doing none of that. And I'm glad that there are people out there that are not afraid of the things that I am afraid of.
Right.
Right?
You respect that.
Oh, I love it. That's why. So being an EMT, man, so you're like the jack of all trades, man. So you get to see many different walks of life. So when as you're sitting around as an EMT, you decided that I'm going to run for office. I gotta. Because you felt like this was a crisis.
Absolutely. It's as much a crisis as the opioid epidemic. There's not just one thing that's happening in Indiana. When you see places like Steinsville School, that's in my district, right? That's been there for 50 years plus, that gets ripped out of that community.
What do you mean ripped out of the community?
It's gone.
It closed it?
And it closed it at the end of the year.
It was a public school?
It was a public school.
And in the county, or in this little town, and they closed it because
more funding.
Okay, so where
because our tax dollars went to vouchers.
So where will the students who cannot afford to finish the buffer part of the vouchers, where will they go to school since that school was closed?
They're going to be on a bus 2 hours one way to get to school. And we've got an even worse crisis in Sullivan.
Wait, are y'all listening to this? Are y'all hearing this? Listen, I know there are a lot of people who don't believe that rural Indiana has good Democrats. I've got a guest on this week and a guest on next week that is coming from rural Indiana who are both Democrats running for office. You were telling me stories that, we talk about in urban Indiana when we talk about, schools shutting down and how kids, because the Chamber of Commerce just made their recommendations for IPS, which is still the largest school system in the state of Indiana, that they needed to consolidate schools and they need to reduce the number of teachers, which makes classrooms larger. You're telling me in communities where there's only maybe a high school and maybe 2 elementary schools and a middle school, that they're closing those down?
Closing them. They slash our budgets. They raise our property taxes. If you think that's okay, we need to have a real conversation. And I'm talking Indiana.
And let's be real about this. I know a lot of people get mad at me because I talk about issues with people of color. You missed that segment. But this rural America,
I never miss it in my heart.
We're talking about rural America, rural Indiana, where it's mostly white folk. Now listen to me, people. We're talking about the education of our citizens. They will continue to believe the nonsense that comes from an orange president if we are not educating people the right way. And you're telling me that they shut down a school. I'm repeating it. My ADD is kicking in. I'm repeating this because it makes absolutely no sense to me how we do not have a school in this community.
The only sense that it makes is it's completely political. my opponent took 4 pre-primary donations, and you can look it up on the Secretary of State website.
Because all that stuff is
in.gov.
Yeah.
They are from super PACs, super education PACs, Koch brother initiated, from Gary and Muncie. What was the first bill they voted on?
Oh, to take over those schools. Muncie got taken over by Ball State. Gary got taken over by the state, which, by the way, is still having issues allocating and budgeting enough money for schools. But they gonna take over a school system? Give me a break.
And they wrote in the bill, they didn't leave it to Gary and Muncie.
No.
They left it open for places like Sullivan, who's due to close, which is just south. That's in Jim X line is running for that area. For all of these rural areas that they think that no one is listening to.
That no one is listening. That's the thing.
Right. So Spencer also has a water issue. We were on the EPA list of the worst water, worse than Africa water.
Wow.
We had
worse than Flint water?
Worse than Flint water. We had dry cleaning chemicals. Let me explain it to you in terms that maybe our viewers can understand, right? So I got a water softening system that's supposed to last for 20 years, right? It didn't even last 5 because the resin that's in it to make it softer, along with the salt, was corroded by the corrosive chemicals. It did not last 5 years. We are in a crisis mode in the rural areas because it's generally a spot where you only stay in Indianapolis, even if you're a rep. And I'm not saying that there aren't good reps.
Absolutely.
There are good reps. And what we need to do as a state is come together as neighbors to change it. Because it's not just Spencer.
No.
It's not just Owen County. It's not just Clay County. It's not just Monroe County or Vigo County. It's the whole state.
Right.
The whole state. Because when our exterior crumbles, it folds inward.
Right. And so I'm boggled because I'm glad that you're sharing a lot of this information because again a lot of my listeners are from more urban areas, more, and I'm trying to get a larger audience. I'm trying to make this 92 counties, but I have some initiatives that I want to work on with the party. But part of the problem is because this is not my community and because I'm not familiar with it, right?
Sure.
I never want to go into a situation and tell people what they should do without actually being able to assess it. But you have actually blown my head clean off my shoulders because everything starts with education.
Everything.
And now you're telling me there's a whole generation of kids who are going to be 2 hours, 4-hour commute daily to school. So how much sleep are they going to get? How much real time are they going to get actually studying and reading? How much social...
They shorten the school day.
Yeah, they shorten the school day. So that means there's less information getting in. Also, there's another aspect of personal growth that I think people forget when it's about going to school is that social interaction.
Right.
And how you learn to do conflict resolution and all the things that come with being in a social setting where there's other people. We just are now stripping these out of the rural community. And are they able to get away with this because it's so few people? Maybe I don't.
Maybe it's because the house whip runs that area, but I would hate to say that would be the reason why that the power gave permission to do this to your own area. But I will say this: even growing up in a rural area as a child, I had the personal safety of an education. I had the personal safety of knowing that when I got out of high school, or because I didn't finish high school, that there were going to be jobs available. Right. Real jobs available that I could do for my whole life. And those have just dissipated.
Yeah. Okay, let's switch gears a little bit because we've talked about the environment quite a bit, and we've talked about education, which are very important topics. Give me another area that you feel like we need to fix, and it's one of the reasons why you're running for office. I'm motivated. I don't know about you guys, but she's got me fired up.
We've got it. I mean, the biggest thing for me are labor unions. When our labor unions thrive,
collective bargaining, baby.
That's right. When our labor unions thrive, our entire working system thrives.
Absolutely.
Right to work, we have not just got to get rid of it, we've got to repeal and replace it. We've got to replace it with healthcare for all. Mm-hmm. We've got to replace it with collective bargaining. We've got to replace it with so many things to support our unions. We need more infrastructure bills. We need to be giving these contracts to the people that work here, that know the place. And I guarantee the correlation of loss of Indiana labor and the opioid epidemic
are one and the same. Because when you have a community that brings you up, that checks on you, hey man, I know you were having problems, I want to know how you're doing, shows up at your door, what's going on, how can I help you? We don't have, psychology will tell you that, is that when you have people show up to you, you're less likely to have continued addiction. Mm-hmm. Because you have a community, you have a sense of community, you have a sense of belonging, and you begin to grow in other things rather than repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat. Wow. And it's so, what's so scary about all of this is they have a supermajority in both the House and the Senate, and they have the governor's mansion. And if we don't come together and get involved and stop talking about all the pettiness, these things will continue to happen. I know it is much more fascinating to talk about something stupid that Trump says, because he does it every 15. But at the same time, oh, you got to be kidding me. At the same time, we have real issues that are impacting lives on a daily basis, and nobody even wants to utter one word of it. I'm stunned.
The fact that you can be a union worker making a set wage at a skilled trade, and then you get rained out for 3 weeks, right? Mm-hmm. Or something happens in your life and you can't be employed. And you go from making your union wage, which took you years to get up to being cut down to nothing on unemployment. It's ridiculous.
And then you give these huge tax cuts to people who already have enough to share.
Right.
And that's what's so crazy.
I come from more of a Dwight D. Eisenhower idea of economics.
You just called out a Republican. I'm going to go ahead and let you go, because actually he was very progressive.
Right.
He was very progressive.
You know, and it's not even about R or D at that point. It's about being a good neighbor. Right?
Okay.
It's about you and I can live across the street from each other, and I see that you're hurt and I'm going to carry your groceries. Right? Or, hey, Thomasina, I need a ride to my doctor's office. I hurt my foot. Okay.
You've got the right, to me you have the right mindset, and that is, being a good neighbor and treating each other with dignity and respect.
Right.
And I think a lot of what we have right now is our elected officials who could give two rats' asses about anyone other than themselves. And that's what's driving me crazy now.
It's not about the
it's not, it's exactly, and I tell people all the time, when I get a lot of praise and a lot of pats on the back for the work that I do, and I think that, trust me, it makes me feel good and it makes me work harder. But honestly, that's not why you do it. That's not why I spend hours away from my wife when she's mad at me. It's not, she gets mad. It's not why I spend so much time away from my friends and my family. Indiana is a beautiful place to live. Yes. It has opportunities up and down the state in 92 counties, but we've got supermajorities that are not paying attention to the people. And here you have a candidate, right, who is saying, bug all of the other stuff. It really is about looking out for my neighbor.
Right.
And she is articulated very well. I'm sorry, but if a water softener is supposed to last 10, 15 years, 20 and it only lasts 5, that tells you whatever you're consuming. Now we're talking about health.
Right.
Right? Now we're talking about healthcare. I don't know if you at the convention I talked about stop poisoning us.
Right.
Nobody wants to just flat out say it anymore. These people are poisoning us. And we are allowing it to happen because we keep electing people who think it's okay that put profits over people versus people over profits.
Right.
And they are willing to allow these organizations to poison us. Mm-hmm. And Thomasina, I know you want them to stop that, right?
You've got to. I wouldn't poison you if you were my neighbor.
I wouldn't poison. I wouldn't poison you now, even though you live way in Owen County.
That's right.
You my homie.
That's right. But you're not going to do that. You're also, you're not going to set fire to some like big poison trap out there without telling your neighbors, hey, look what I got, and then they'll be like, no, you probably don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that's the voice that we're missing. The whole entire point of public office and public service is that you are a service to the community.
You are a servant. Yes. I have a meme that I often put up. The first job of a leader is to be a servant. And the last part is to say thank you. Tell me about your campaign. Tell me about some of the things that you're seeing as you're out knocking on doors. Because hey, listen, you're in rural Indiana, and the assumption is there's not liberal thinking, progressive thinking people in rural Indiana. What kind of feedback are you getting as you're out in Owen County and the different counties knocking on doors?
I'm getting great feedback.
What are they telling you? Tell us what they're telling you.
They are absolutely on board. They're so tired of being taken advantage of. My neighbors, and that's who it is, and I don't care how big they make the district. My neighbors are hurt, they're angry, and they don't have the time with their 3 and 4 jobs to get out and do anything about it. And the biggest thing that I've heard is thank you. Thank you for giving us a voice.
But what do they want you to fight for most? I mean, I know these are things that we talked about.
Sure.
Here. What are they telling you other than what we're talking about?
A lot of people get freaked out and think that, that there's a fight with gun control. And I'm going to put it to you really honestly. If I can Google whether my neighbor has had a sexual crime or not, committed a sexual crime or not, there is absolutely no reason why I can't Google whether he can trade a semi-automatic with me or not, or a muzzleloader with me or not. We have no system to check on our guns.
Wow. Well,
that is important to these guys who are trading muzzleloaders, and let me tell you why.
Oh, okay. These are gun owners who
are
saying, wait, where's my? I don't mind having a system in place so I can communicate with lawful gun owners.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because it makes them look bad if something happens, right?
Okay.
So if I have a
ownership.
Yeah, if I have a $1,500 muzzleloader, I can trade it in for an AR-15. And if I'm a grandfather of 4, I don't want to be the last person in between that person doing something bad.
Really?
Give me the tools
to help protect
my community.
Okay. Because honestly, that's interesting. I never even, because I don't know about the gun culture. It's a culture, right? And I imagine being in rural Indiana, it's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
And I actually, since I started doing the show, I've met more Ds who are registered gun owners than I ever imagined there were. So when I hear R's talking about, we want to take your gun, I'm like, no. We don't want to take your gun because we got them too.
Yeah.
My wife is a lifetime gun permit owner.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan, but that's her thing.
Right.
So that's interesting because I never even thought of it like that. What else are they telling you?
They're telling the school issue is huge. Okay. I've got teachers that are not even in my area, that are in Cloverdale, right? And they're going to cut their budget. Yeah. And what happens after that? Well, the science programs are cut. The art programs are cut.
The athletic programs.
The athletic programs are cut. No, not the football.
Of course. No, not the boy stuff.
Well, we are in Indiana.
Not the boy stuff. Girls basketball might hang around.
Right. Well, we'll hang around just because we want to play.
Right.
I mean,
that's about the only girl thing they really be like.
Right.
Okay.
Volleyball. Right.
Volleyball. Yeah.
Volleyball. But my point is that in our rural areas, they see school after school disappearing. They see no child care.
Child care. Well, that the rate of child care in Indiana is higher than most places. So
when you have to decide at my $415 a week job, am I able to keep that because I'm paying $525 a week to take care of my kids?
Yeah, net negative. It's a net negative. And then you have these people in Congress talking about, trying to increase the work requirements for assistance when they don't even realize that people are already working.
Right. Well, and It costs kids over $200 a year to get books. In our rural areas, they don't get books. They get iPads. They don't even get to take that iPad home because we don't have internet.
No, you don't have high-speed internet in rural Indiana.
We don't.
Now, apparently, your lieutenant governor, and she has initiated,
right?
She's initiated a program to help address the lack of high-speed internet in rural Indiana. Listen, I've been screaming it since somebody gave me a microphone. Yeah. Because here's the thing. Here's the reason why I am big on making sure that rural Indiana has the educational tools that they need. Mm-hmm. If your only understanding of people outside of your universe are what you see on TV, or what the orange guy is telling you, or what, then you are going to grow up in this space where you actually believe the nonsense that's being heard because you're not being taught anything else.
On both sides.
And if you don't have access to the World Wide Web, you're already behind, and you're already resentful. Mm-hmm. You're already resentful. And so there is a necessity in making sure that every child in the state of Indiana, and people that want to come for me and talk about all I do is talk about black folk, kiss my if you want to, I'm sorry, it almost came out. My point is, we have to educate every child in order for our whole society, right, to progress.
Correct.
And I'm really pissed off. Now you done get me on a whole new crusade.
So think about it. When they cut those the programs, right? Well, when they cut the programs for the kids to get lunch,
yeah,
you know as well as I do, kids in both inner cities and rural areas, that's the only meal they're gonna get.
It's only. I have a buddy that does a hashtag lunch bag because when school is out, mm-hmm. him and he gets volunteers together and he gets donations to make sure that these kids in this neighborhood actually get lunch because they know that they probably won't get anything else to eat.
Correct.
And that's the thing that annoys me. How are you gonna claim to be this Christian and this is a Christian state and I love God and all this, but you let kids go hungry?
You can't. You just can't.
You're cutting food from kids.
Correct.
How do you?
Insurance. Think about it. We have to, as an EMT in that area, it can take us up to 45 minutes to get to a hospital, if not longer.
45 minutes.
To get to a trauma hospital, it can take over an hour, unless it's not a cloudy day and we can call in a bird. A helicopter.
I did know that. I did. Yeah. I used to do some service for IMPD, so I did know that.
Right.
Wow.
So when we close these little bitty rural hospitals because we're not funding the Affordable Care Act.
Come on.
Our mothers who are getting ready to have children who do not have OBGYN service to begin with, who are pre-eclampsing, would be in the back of an ambulance for 2 hours to get up here. Or an hour and a half to get up here. Or to get to Bloomington, depending on where they are. I mean, you've got Greene County, right, who has a hospital. You've got Putnam County, who has a hospital. But still, you're looking at 30 to 45 minutes through windy roads in the back of an ambulance.
How is that acceptable? How is that acceptable, Hoosiers? How is that acceptable?
We gotta fix it.
We gotta fix it.
When we talk about healthcare, we're not just saying supporting a certain group of people. We're saying all Hoosiers banding together from Evanston, Indiana, all the way up to LaPorte.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
We've got to.
Man, listen, if you're like me and you don't get a lot of time in rural Indiana, I spent most of my time in urban Indiana. I have not had the opportunity to really get to know these neighborhoods and what these communities are like, but I've been reaching out to people trying to. She has given you a lesson today. She has given you a lesson on the plight. And if you do not and cannot see the correlation and the relationship between what goes on in urban areas and what goes on in rural areas, check your pulse. Check your pulse, because we're still talking about humans. And they're spread out. You know, there's almost 1 million people in Indianapolis. So you might be able to run to your neighbor's house, and get what you need or get some help. How close is your closest neighbor?
Quarter mile away.
Quarter mile away. And if you
depending on whether you walk through the woods or not.
I'm not going through the woods. I'm not going through the woods. Dick Cheney shot somebody with an orange vest on in the woods. He got away with that.
He got away with it.
He got away with that.
He had enough money to get away with it. What did you say? I can't believe you said that.
What?
Nothing.
No, he got away with that. He got money. He got money.
He got money.
So okay, so we are running out of time, and I probably spend way too much time talking about the education. But honestly, people, when you watch people with tiki torches and khakis on talking about you would not replace us, they come from a state where they weren't educated. I'm sorry. They're coming from a place where they've been miseducated. They come from a place where they really believe that there's an end to who they are as humans. So tell us about your campaign. Tell people where they can find you.
This is Change for the People.
Change for the people.
Change for the people. Make the checks out to Change for the people.
Make the checks out to change.
That's
Where can
right.
they find you though?
You can find me on Facebook at Change the number 4 Indiana. You can find me on Twitter at the same call at Change the number 4 Indiana.
All right.
And you know, you can always reach out to me at Thomasina THOMASINA.
Right.
FOR46 at gmail.com.
All right. And do you have any fundraisers coming up?
Yeah, I do have a fundraiser coming up. We have a meet and greet cook-a-thon on the 4th and 5th. Check it out on our Change for the
August?
People.
Okay.
Of August.
Okay.
Check it out on our Facebook.
All right.
And, you know, we've got a meet and greet in Spencer.
Okay.
If y'all want to check out Rural America, come on down.
Okay,
I'm with it.
I went to the Spencer Pride and I was
That's
real
right.
happy. So okay, we have a few minutes left and there's a couple of fun things I want to talk about real quick, just to lighten up, because I dig you. I dig you as a person. I believe I really believe if we lived closer together, we would hang out more.
That's right.
Tell me about your wife real quick.
She's amazing. She, what do you want to know?
You already know what I want you to tell. Tell the story. Tell it.
Oh, I was her boss.
Well, no, not that one. What is she doing?
She is an amazing individual that works for workforce development in the whole state of Indiana. She writes the bills.
But what else? This is a political show. What else is she doing?
She's running for county council.
She's running for county council in Spencer. Now, tell me that ain't a power couple.
Right.
You know, one is running for house rep, one is running for council, and both of y'all bug me to death that when I see y'all not touting that enough. Y'all need to share that with people that as a couple you have committed yourselves to service of the community, one from a state level, one from a municipal level. That is huge, huge, huge. All right, one other thing, and I think HB is going to like this. Go on, give me a note. Come on. You got something in there? You got something? What you got? Give me something.
At last, my love has come along.
So y'all didn't know on Turn Left.
My lonely
Y'all was gonna get it.
days are over.
Y'all didn't know.
And life is like a song.
Got me goosey over here.
Okay.
That's all I got, boss.
Hey, listen, on Turn Left, you never know what you gonna get with my guest, baby. Hey, listen, Indiana, we have so much work to do. This woman, look at her energy level. We
gotta do this.
We gotta get it done. She's got a wide range of talents. She is by far, one of the most dynamic candidates that you are going to meet if you ever get a chance to meet. I'm telling you, people, we have a lot of work to do, and you need people like that. And if nothing else fails, she'll sing you a lullaby.
That's right.
So what do you want to tell the people? Give them your door-knocking speech and tell them why they should vote for you.
Everybody, this is about us, neighbors, coming together. It doesn't matter what party you affiliate with. It doesn't matter who you think you identify with. We are all Hoosiers every single day. We all need to stand strong. We all need to knock on doors, because this is the time for Indiana workers to come first, for our children to come first, to bring us from the bottom of the list up to the top of the list, to not only be the crossroads of America, but to be the innovation of America.
Well, I don't know if I got nothing else. I think that she pretty much summed it all up. All right, one little last thing before we go. Thank you, Thomasina. You are awesome on many levels. One little tidbit I want to give my junior activists out here. This is just a going away message. Big sister to little brothers and little sisters out here as you are out here being activists. Remember, if you believe in your goal, then you work it. Don't worry about if somebody else is feeling your goal or not. Don't worry about if anybody else is feeling your mission. Don't get in your feelings because people are not feeling what you feel. You're going to find like-minded people. You're going to find, if your message is strong and if you are coming correct, you're going to find like-minded people. One of the things that I'm really disappointed about is when I see people who have a mission or a goal that they're trying to accomplish and they get upset when people don't fall in line with what their goal is. It's not going to happen all the time, people. Trust me, when I ran for office, they looked at me like I had a horn growing out of my head and somebody had just kicked me in my gut. Like, what is wrong with this girl? But I still have a goal and I still have a mission that I'm on. And eventually I found my like-minded individuals. Okay, so to all my young activists out there, all my young leaders who are on their way, do not get discouraged because everybody is not following in behind you right away. Just keep plugging at it. Don't get mad. Don't get offended and don't get butthurt. Okay, anyway, Indiana's own Dana Black. We will be back again. Thank you, Thomasina. You were incredibly awesome, my girl. I love you. I'll catch y'all next week. I got another, I'm telling you, Rule Indiana. That's what we doing. Holla at y'all later. Peace.